Okay, this is assignment 8.7b, and on this assignment you're solving quadratics by factoring. So in order to keep things organized, we're going to use this x, and if you multiply the 1 that would be in the front of this x squared with the negative 5, 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. So the product of these two, negative 5. In the middle you're going to use this negative 4, and you're looking for factors of the top number, though when you combine them will give you the bottom. So the factors of 5 are 1 and 5, and that's it. You want it to be a negative 4 when you combine them, so that means the bigger number has to be negative and the other one's positive. And that means that when you write your factored form, they're both going to have x. One's going to have a positive 1, the other one's going to have a negative 5. And then now you can make each one of these factors equal to 0, so you go x plus 1 equals 0, and x minus 5 equals 0. Over here, you're going to subtract 1 from both sides. And on the other part, you're going to add 5 to both sides. And there's your two answers. On the next problem, same process. 1 times 2 is 2. The 3 goes right there. Factors of 2 that add up to make 3. The only ones you can use would be a positive 1 and a positive 2. You're going to put x on both of these binomials, because that's the number here, and then you're going to put plus 1 and plus 2, and then make each one equal to 0. Over here, subtract 1, x is negative 1. On the other part, subtract 2, x is negative 2. There's your two answers. Number 3, now you have a 4 in front of this x squared, so you're going to go 4 times 5. That's the number on the top, the 9 down on the bottom. So now you have to find the factors of 20 that can add up to make 9. So if we go 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 4 times 5, we see that these two right here will add up to make 9, and they'll multiply to make 20. Now we're gonna use the 4 for both of those terms, for both of those factors, and we're gonna use the 4 and the 5 as the second term, and then remove the greatest common factor. So between these two numbers, they can both be divided by 4. That means it's going to reduce to x plus 1. Over here, it doesn't reduce, so you leave it 4x plus 5. And then x times 4. Oh wait. Then you're going to go x plus 1 equal to 0, and 4x plus 5 equal to 0. On this one, you subtract 1, you come out with negative 1. On this one, you subtract 5, divide both sides by 4. X is 5/4, or 1 1/4, or 1.25. Number 4, 8, 18, and 9 don't have anything in common, so we're going to go to this organizer. 8 times 9 is 72. That's the top number. 18, bottom number. And you're going to try to find the factors of 72 that add up to make 18. So 72 could be 1 times 72. It can be 2 times 36. It can be 4 times 18. it can be 6 times 12, and it could be 8 times 9. And if we're looking through here, 12 and 6 add up to make 18. They're both positive, so that they multiply to make positive 72. They combine to make a positive 18. So now we're going to do our 8x in the beginning, and then we're going to use the 6 and the 12, and then we're going to reduce here, so 8 and 6 can both be divided by 2. That's going to be 4x plus 3. And 8 and 12 can both be divided by 4, so that'd be 2x plus 3. And those are your two factors. Now that we have our factors, make each one equal to 0. So 4x plus 3 equals 0. 2x plus 3 equal to 0. Over here on the left side, you're going to subtract 3. And you're going to divide by 4. And you get negative 3/4. On this one, you're going to subtract 3. Divide by 2. And you get negative 3/2. Next problems. The x squared minus 11x plus 19 does not have 0 on the other side, so we need to get it equal to 0 before we start. We're going to add 5 to both sides, so there's going to be x squared minus 11x plus 24 equals 0. And now that we have it equal to 0, we can do like the problems before. So the 1 and the 24 gives us 24 for the top, negative 11, the number in the middle goes down to the bottom. The factors of 24 that give me negative 11. 1 times 24, nope. 2 times 12, nope. 3 times 8, that can give me 11. So if they're both negative 3 and negative 8, that would multiply and make a positive 24, and negative 3 combined with a negative 8 would give me negative 11. So now that I have my factors, I'm going to put x in front of both of these, negative 3, negative 8. I don't have to worry about factoring out anything because they don't have anything in common. Set each one equal to 0, and then solve them separate. So if I add 3 to both sides, I get 3, and if I add 8 to both sides, I get 8. Number 6, I need to move this 5 across that equal sign. I'm going to subtract 5. If I subtract 5, I'm at 10. So now the number on the top is going to be 1 times 10 is 10. The number on the bottom is going to be the 7 from the middle. 10 can be 1 times 10, or it can be 2 times 5, and that's the pair that adds up to make 7. So the 2 and the 5, they're both positive. N plus 2, n plus 5. Now make each one of these equal to 0, so n plus 2 equals a 0, n plus 5 equal to 0. Over here, subtract 2. And on this part, subtract 5. And there's my two answers. I need to move this negative 2 out of the right side, so I'm going to add 2 to both sides. I'm going to have n squared minus 10n plus 24. And then I'm going to put the 24 on top, negative 10 on the bottom, or 1 times 24, or 2 times 12, or 3 times 8, or 6 times 4, 4 times 6. Those all make 24, and the one that gives me a negative 10, is going to be the 6 and the 4 if they're both negative. So I have n minus 6, n minus 4, make each one equal to 0. Solve them separate. On the left side, n is 6. On the right side, n is 4. I need to move this 6 to the left. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. I'm going to get n squared plus 3n minus 18 equal to 0. 1 times negative 18 goes on the top. 3 goes down to the bottom. My factors are going to be 6 and 3. I want it to be positive, so positive 6, negative 3, n plus 6, n minus 3. Set each one of these equal to 0. If I subtract 6 from both sides, I get negative 6. And over here, if I add 3 to both sides, I get a positive 3. I'm going to subtract 6 to move it across. So 6n squared minus 18n minus 24 equals 0. Remember, you're going to multiply the first number and the last one. So 6 times 24. Six times 24 is 144. And then the number in the middle, the negative 18, goes down here. I'm looking for factors of 144. 72, 3 times 48, 4 times 36, 5 is not going to work, 6 times 24, 8 times 18, and let's see if 9 works. It's 16, and then 12 and 12. So I'm looking for a factor of 144 that adds up to make 18, and even here I get 24, over here I get 25, over here I get 26. So there is no factors that work for this. So that's an example where it's not factorable. Okay, on number 10, you want to move this across, so you're going to add 7 to the left side. And then before you try to do what we've been doing here, watch out. 7, 14, and 7 can all be factored out. You can divide 7 into every one of these terms. You always try to get your greatest common factor out first. So if I get a 7 out of here, now I have r squared minus 2r plus 1. And this is what I'm going to use in order to factor using that x. So the 1 in front of the r squared and the 1 here is going to give me my number on top. This negative 2 goes down to the bottom. The factors of 1 that multiply to give me a positive 1 and the add or combine to give me a negative 2 are going to be 1 and 1. So the r squared is going to be r and r. And then when we did this, we found out that on the right side we're going to have negative 1, negative 1. And then if you put 7 equal to 0, that doesn't work. If you put r minus 1 equal to 0, you get 1. And if you get the other r minus 1, make it equal to 0, you're going to get 1 again. So your answer here is only one answer. The answer is 1.